Hello. So welcome to today's live. Today we're in day 29 of 2026 Tax Talk. I'm going live for 90 days straight. If this is your first time here, drop a 29 in the comments just as a way to say, hey, I'm here. I'm joining for day 29. Um, I know I'm gonna give it my all for today, but I'm excited about February because in February I'm gonna be breaking down different topics in the One Big Beautiful Bill that I've been reading and just jotting down things that I know are gonna really pertain to the hair industry. So waiting until February to really dig deep and dive deep into the One Big Beautiful Bill, which has, of course, a ton of changes for the hair industry. But today I want to talk about what happens when you have a dependent and you're co-parenting and it flips on and off on when you can file that dependent. I actually had a client recently filing his 2025 taxes. He is out of Utah, I believe, and he and his ex-wife have an arrangement where claiming his son every other year. So last year he had a really nice refund, and when we were preparing his taxes this year, he didn't mention that he had a on and off again year. So when I was reviewing his tax return with him and saying, oh, this is the refund, and because we were able to apply, the child tax credit. He was like, oh, I forgot to tell you, this year my ex-wife is claiming my son. So I can't claim him this year. And I was like, oh no. I wish you had told me this during the year because we needed to update how much you're paying in estimated taxes. So, and actually I mixed up. This is not my Utah client. This was actually a Colorado client. So what ended up happening was when we switched off the child because we couldn't claim the child for that year, that of course switched things around, and now he owed money. And so this might be you. You might be like, yep, I have a situation where I can claim one or more of my dependents every other year, depending on the situation. Then this is going to be for you. If you're new here, my name is Jennifer Drew. I am the founder and CEO of Hair CEO. We are a business advisory, bookkeeping, and tax firm that caters to self employed hair professionals and hair business owners. And we do this through our services throughout the year and also tax services during tax filing season. So, yeah, like I mentioned, we're going to talk about the every other year dependent. So, if you have an agreement with your ex or your partner where you have the kids or child one year and they have it the other, then you're going to get credits based off of when you can file the child. And this year, the child tax credit is $2,200. So that's pretty significant. So this was what the client had. He had $2,200 in a credit, and this was calculated before he told me that, oh, his ex was claiming the child for 2025. And we had to get rid of that. The other thing that we had to do was that he claimed head of household. Well, because he wasn't the head of a household anymore, his ex was the head of household. That meant he went from head of household to single. And that was an additional $1,500 that he lost in not deduction, but that he had to end up paying. So he got rid of this. Now, if you're in this situation, you're going to have to make sure that you are preparing throughout the year because you know that you're not going to get these two credits for your taxes. So it's going to be up to you to make sure that you're planning ahead. And one way to do that is to The years where you are filing your child, you can take that money, that excess money, and you could put that into a high yield savings account. I've seen some people do that and let that sit there the entire year until it's time to file taxes. And then some it'll grow, and then you'll have the amount to pay on the off year. So that's one way that some clients do it. Other people, they just end up saving more during the year so that they can have the money when that time fluctuates. So you have some options there. But what you don't want is a surprise because you just forgot, oh yeah, I'm not claiming my child. Another thing that I was really thankful for was that he realized this as we were going through his review. Because when we file taxes, we don't just say, oh, you submit all your information. Okay, here's what you owe, or here's what you're getting back. Sign this document. No, 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 no. That's why it's really important for us to have a talk with you, look at how we got to the outcome. Whether you owe some money or whether you are getting a refund back, we want to walk you through, okay, how do we get to this number? And we say, okay, your business made X amount. This is how much you had in expenses. These are all of the credits that you were, eligible for. And this is how we got to this number. And then we factor in if you made any estimated tax payments, if you had a W-2 job, maybe you had some withholdings there, and we calculate all that stuff. And so that's when we discovered that he could not file his dependent. Now think about this. He was like, "Oh man, Jennifer, I'm so glad we talked about this because I can only imagine the headache if I have filed my son and then his ex tried to file her taxes and it was like, surprise, your son's already been claimed." He was like, that would have been hell to pay. And I can only imagine. So you want to make sure that you're not in that situation, and just making sure that when you're filling out your tax information is not only, okay, let me tell my tax professional, like I have a arrangement every other year, I'm filing taxes with my dependent, or just being proactive and knowing, and then setting aside money, just knowing that you're not going to have that refund. Or if you are due a refund, it's going to be lower because you don't have, the child to offset how much money that you're going to be making. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. Really short. I want to keep these short. This is all about tax tips for the filing season. I know that taxes, just sometimes it paralyzes people with the way that the IRS makes you feel. So if you have questions, drop them in the chat. If you're on the replay, leave a comment. I love reading the comments. And if you have questions, that you want me to answer specifically for your situation, then maybe a call would be better, because if it's a really unique, then we'll need to make sure that we have all the information. But otherwise, if you have general questions, leave them in the chat. We have until March 31st for us to complete this live series. So again, if you are new here and you want to work with us at Hair CEO, you must be in the hair industry, whether you are self-employed or whether maybe you're just a W-2 employee, but you have to be in the hair industry or have a hair business, and we would love to help you. The description below contains the link for you to get started working with us. And yeah, so that wraps it up. I'm Jen, and I help self-employed hair professionals and hair business owners with simplifying profits and taxes. And I will see you tomorrow when we are on day 30.